Hi there, I'm Edwin Palmer.
Welcome to my series on cognitive abilities.
In this video, I want to ask these 5 questions. What is inhibitory control? What part of the brain regulates it? Are there people who lack this cognitive skill? Are there tests which measure a person's inhibitory control? And are men better at inhibitory control than women? Let's get these questions answered.
1. What is inhibitory control? Inhibitory control or response inhibition is a cognitive process which permits an individual to inhibit their impulses and natural, habitual, or dominant behavioral responses to stimuli in order to select a more appropriate behavior which is consistent with completing their goals.
So it's the ability to hold back and restrain ourselves and not act on our impulses in situations where it's socially unacceptable to act on impulse.
Self-control is an important aspect of inhibitory control. For example, successfully suppressing the natural behavioral response to eat cupcakes when you're craving them while dieting requires you to use your inhibitory control. This person clearly lacks self-control. 2. What part of the brain regulates response inhibition? The prefrontal cortex, caudate nucleus, and subthalamic nucleus are known to regulate inhibitory control cognition. 3. Are there people who lack this cognitive skill?
Yes, people who suffer from addiction and or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder lack inhibitory control. However, in healthy adults and healthy ADHD individuals, inhibitory control improves over the short term with low therapeutic doses of methylphenidate or amphetamine.
Over the long term, you can also improve inhibitory control via consistent aerobic exercise. 4. Are there tests which measure a person's inhibitory control?
Yes, an inhibitory control test is a neuropsychological test which measures a person's ability to override their natural, habitual, or dominant behavioral response to a stimulus in order to implement more adaptive, goal-oriented behaviors.
Some of the neuropsychological tests which measure inhibitory control include the Stroop task, Go-No-Go task, Simon task, Flanker task, anti-saccade tasks, delay of gratification tasks, and stop signal tasks. 5. Are men better at inhibitory control than women?
No, it's usually the other way around. Females tend to have a greater basal capacity to exert inhibitory control over undesired or habitual behaviors and respond differently to modulatory environmental contextual factors relative to males.
For example, listening to music tends to significantly improve the rate of response inhibition in females, but reduce the rate of response inhibition in males.
This information came from these websites. You'll find these links below this video. Let's say you have a child or student who has ADHD and no inhibitory control. What can you do to help that child besides therapy, medication, and aerobics? I'll answer that question in my next video in this series. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and watch this series from the start. Next Friday, I'll be back with a new episode in my IQ series. Till then, I only want to say 3 things. Thank you for watching, have a great day, and bye y'all!